Good afternoon, and welcome to the Indian Hill Schools News Briefing. I'm your host, Zach Stewart. From Sunday to November, I
didn't realize that you weren't saying this.
I don't think I'm saying that. I think we're just going to use the slides.
You want to take that out or not?
Yeah.
Just stop it right there. We'll get it so it works. I'll cue her and then we'll be ready to go.
Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Indian Hill Schools News Briefing. I'm your host, Zach Stewart. From Sunday, November 23rd to Tuesday, November 25th, the class of 2004 partook in the time-honored tradition of senior trip. Last year, the trip was to Chicago, an exciting city with a myriad of American cultural landmarks and a thriving theater district. Like 2 years ago, the class attended a performance by the performance art group, Blue Man Group. A new addition to senior trip this year was the hotly debated mandatory college visit. The class was divided and sent to one of 4 colleges in the greater Chicago area: Loyola, University of Chicago, DePaul, and Northwestern. Here to comment on this year's senior trip is Speaking of news pertaining to the senior class, as everyone must know, Friday is the deadline for college applications to be submitted to the guidance office. Here to talk about this important turning point in senior year and the remainder of the application process is guidance counselor, Mrs. McWaters. Good afternoon, Mrs. McWaters. The GSA is one of the most discussed new organizations at Indian Hill High School this year. Joining us to talk about the Gay Straight Alliance is GSA officer and co-founder Annie Clark. Good afternoon, Annie. Well, I'd like to thank all of my guests for joining us today. Of course, a very special thanks to our producer, Mr. Dennis Dupps. If you like what you saw today, or you'd like to learn more, you can email Mr. Dupps at dupsd@ih.k12.oh.us or call 272-4590. Thank you for tuning in. From all of us at the IHTN studio, we'd like to wish you a good day and an even better tomorrow. This is Zach Stewart, signing off. Use James.
Let me get
I'll do it as Kara.
Okay, Zach, anytime.
Okay. So, Annie, tell me, does Indian Hill really need a Gay Straight Alliance?
Absolutely. Our school is really, it's sort of turned a blind eye to issues that the Gay Straight Alliance addresses with homosexuality and acceptance, and the fact that there is homosexuality in our school. And it's nice for everyone to have an open forum where we can discuss it, and no one's going to, I mean, it's a great place for people to discuss those sort of issues, because you don't really get that chance during a regular school day or, you know, in any sort of class, or you don't really get a forum like that like you do at the Gay Straight Alliance. And it's really nice to have a group in our school that's acknowledging those sort of issues and that sort of thing.
How did the idea for this group come about?
Well, Andrew White had mentioned it, and he mentioned it to Allie Tuddenham and I, and we expressed our interest in helping him form it, and we talked about how much we felt that Indian Hill did need a group like this. And so the 3 of us asked Miss Ussery if she would be our advisor, and she agreed, and that's how it was born.
Could you give me a description of the average member of the Indian Hill GSA?
Well, that's the kind of beauty of the Gay Straight Alliance, is that there really is no average member. It's a ton of people from, we have over 80 members, close to 100. It's all kinds of different people. The meetings, it's just so diverse. It's not like one group or just the three of us as friends doing it. We were amazed at how many people showed up. None of us anticipated it, and the only thing that we all have in common is, you know, a want for there to be diversity and awareness in our school in that particular area.
And how many people did show up? How many people have joined the group?
Well, at our initial MP meeting, we had about 70 some members, and then the activities fair brought in about 15 or 16 more, I think. There's a great deal of members. We were actually worried when it began that no one would even show up. And when we saw all those people there, it was really a nice thing. And we had a sheet for 40 people to put their emails down, and we had to make another one, and we had to write on the back, and it was just a really amazing turnout.
What activities do you have planned for this year?
Well, we've already done the AIDS Walk, where we raised around $500, I think, for area AIDS victims.
That's fantastic.
Yep. And we also have had our first official meeting, where we sat down and we got to know each other, and we talked about you know, what rules we wanted to have, like with respect, and what we wanted to discuss, and we talked about what everyone wanted to get from the group. And we're going to have our next meeting sometime before break, we hope, and we're definitely going to try and keep having monthly meetings. Each month it's a different topic.
Excellent, excellent, because I know that a lot of clubs start up at Indian Hill and they don't really go anywhere, so it's very good to see that you guys are perpetuating this. According to your group, what do you think is the biggest problem that's facing Indian Hill now?
Probably just, you know, people not really acknowledging that there is a presence, or I mean, we're really trying hard to just get it out there that there are these people in the school, and that you have to be accepting, and in fact, we're going to have a day of silence where all of our members will not speak for the day, and we'll hand out cards that say that we're not speaking, to show the silence that people feel from the way people act in these sort of situations. And just awareness like that, like making people know that it does happen and that there are these people in our school, is mainly what we're out to do.
It's a very good idea. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Annie.
Thanks for having me.
When this comes up, you can just go ahead and start.
Okay. So, Ashley, tell me your thoughts about the mandatory college visits on senior trip this year.
Personally, I thought it was a little pointless, just because I went to a school that I'm personally not applying to. And I know when we got there, the admissions officer asked who's applying, and no one raised their hand. So it was kind of a waste of time. You know, it took like 2 or 3 hours, and it was freezing outside, just walking around, and we looked at the girls' dorm. And it was nice to see a college, but I figure at this time of the year, if anyone hasn't seen a college, it's probably by their own personal choice, because most people know where they're applying or have already applied. So, I mean, it just seemed like something unnecessary for senior trip.
I see, and you were applying to Loyola, weren't you?
Yeah, I did actually apply there a while ago, and I didn't get to go see it. I had to go see DePaul, which I'm not applying to.
Have you seen Loyola yet?
I walked around the campus, and I talked to the admissions officer, but I wasn't assigned to go there when we went to senior trip, and I argued with some of the administration at our school, but I was told that I couldn't go there because it just couldn't be changed. So.
I see. Other than the mandatory college visit, what was your favorite part about senior trip this year?
I think my favorite part was the Blue Man Group. I mean, when I went in, I thought this is going to be so dumb, like people dressed up in blue just dancing around, but actually once I saw it, I thought it was really cool.
That was actually sort of my reaction too.
Yeah.
It was the height of my snobbery, because I went in and I said, I don't really need to dress in black to go to this because it's performance art. But I was very impressed with what they had to do.
Oh, no,
I
I was
fantastic.
too.
What was your least favorite part about senior trip, inversely?
Gosh, I guess the college visit, and
Really?
I didn't think I thought the Sears Tower was kind of disappointing.
Really?
We just sort of walked up there, walked around, and then we spent more time waiting for the bus than we did actually like looking.
Did you Ferris Bueller while you were there?
No, I didn't.
No, that's too bad.
I
That's
didn't
what you
even
have to
think
do
of
when you
that.
get to
I
the
should have
Sears
done
Tower.
that. And I also was very disappointed by the aquarium. I was deciding between the art museum and the aquarium, and just the aquarium had nothing.
Really?
I mean,
I chose the aquarium too. Most of the class chose the aquarium. I
Yeah.
think in retrospect, I wish I had chosen the art museum.
Me too.
Seems like more of a me thing to do, but I went to the
Yeah.
aquarium instead. So
I
I was
just-
impressed, but
I just went because my friends are all going.
Oh, really?
Which
Yeah.
was a dumb move. I mean,
was it 3 of the buses went to the aquarium? and
yeah,
one didn't?
exactly. You know, my friends were on the bus, so.
So tell me, do you feel like you've bonded with your senior class because of this experience?
Honestly, I'm gonna say no, just
Okay.
because I feel like it's senior year, and if we didn't already know everyone, which most of us probably know. I know everyone pretty much, or at least know who they are, and I didn't think like a short 2 or 3 day trip was gonna get us all to be like a really tightly knit senior class.
Okay.
It was nice because I talked to some people that I wouldn't normally hang out with
Okay.
on the bus, but as soon as we got off the buses, I went right to my group of friends, which I think everyone did.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Senior trip should be eliminated. True or false?
False.
Why?
It was nice to go to Chicago and have some free time, be with your friends, just not be at school, and to not have the work to worry about. I mean, I still had work to do, but it was a nice break, I think. And then to come home and then have more break, Thanksgiving break.
Yeah, that was definitely.
I thought it was nice.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us
Oh,
today,
thank
Ashley.
you. Thank you.
I was fine. I haven't been sick yet,
I
so
haven't
I've
been
been
sick,
really
but I
good.
just had a little
Really? Did you?
raspy throat. And
I've been a little raspy lately after my
Okay,
show.
when you come up, you're ready to go.
But. Okay.
You're going to know when we come up. Huh? Are you watching that?
Good afternoon, Mr. Hammond.
Hi, Zach. How are you?
I'm really good. So the college applications for our senior class are due this Friday, correct?
That's correct.
Now, is there any?
Yeah, that's if they want to be sure that they go out before a week from Friday.
Oh,
So
okay.
we can have time to get them processed in the guidance office, transcripts and secondary school reports, and
Okay.
packed up and ready to go.
Will the guidance office still be accepting any applications after that date?
Well, obviously, we encourage the kids to get them in as soon as they can
Mhm.
because it gives more time for the counselors and Ms. Palmer to get all the information together. But if one comes in after the Friday deadline, it's not that it can't go out. It's just that we're going to give those students who got them in first priority, and it'll go kind of behind those. So
Yeah.
we'll try to get out what we can. We just try to avoid somebody coming in at the very last minute. Well, they're ready
Yeah.
to take off on their Christmas break or holiday break, and we obviously would be leaving too. So try to get them in by Friday.
Okay. I imagine you've received a barrage of applications lately and usually do around this time of year. How do you deal with it?
Well, probably starting the middle of November, it hits. There's certain deadlines like November 1st, November 15th,
Yeah.
or December
Yeah.
1st, which seem to be deadlines for different kinds of priorities.
And early decision.
Early decision, early action, or priority decision. So those tend to be where they kind of clump together. But after senior trip that Monday, there were a few that came in. Students
Okay.
I worked on them over the break, and so we had quite a few come in. But it's been steady but reasonable.
Okay. Just how busy does your office get around this time of year?
Well, obviously, seniors, trying to get their transcript or their applications in is real important. Obviously, we still have to work with the 9th, 10th, 11th grades
Yeah.
too, so it gets a little hectic. But
You often don't think about that.
Yeah, just kind of try to do it all.
I've already submitted all of my applications. What should I be doing now?
Well, just continue your academic work because the colleges are going to want to see their 7th semester transcripts. So hopefully those, pan out well for the students. But just again reassessing, make sure you've applied to places that you're really interested in applying, and touch base with your counselor. And if you've got them all in, that's great. We have a number of students who have submitted all the applications they plan to submit, and they really are now in the waiting mode.
Yeah.
Some
Which
of
is some of the hardest part, is
Yeah.
just sitting there waiting.
And some of the families are putting together information because the FAFSA, which is a financial aid form, can be submitted after the 1st of January 2005 or 2004. So
Really?
that's working on that, checking his scholarship
Yes,
information,
yes.
things like that kids are working on now.
Well, thank you for taking the time out
You're
of your
quite
busy
welcome,
schedule
Zach.
to speak with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much.
That was not painful.
Here to comment on this year's senior trip is senior Ashley Cothigal. Good afternoon, Ashley.
Okay. I'll let that run. What's next here?
This one. Yeah, this one I should do again.
This one you need to do again?
Yeah.
All from the top right here?
I think we should. Yeah, let's just do it from the top.
Okay, coming up.
Speaking of news pertaining to the senior class, as everyone must know, Friday is the deadline for college applications to be submitted to the guidance office. Here to talk about this important turning point in senior year is guidance counselor Mr. Hammond. Good afternoon, Mr. Hammond.
Okay, I'm gonna divide with you there. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's great.
This next one?
And then I got this one taken care of, so
This one was right.
Yeah.
All done, right?
yeah, and so the rest of it is done.
Close.
And yeah, I got the closing in.